I would like to introduce our next speaker, Santiago Cabrera-Naranjo, who is coming to us from Amazon Web Services. And, well, a rare opportunity to gain insight into the work of a giant such as Amazon, which of course has entirely different requirements in the world of, well, the internet, online sales, online marketing. Thank you very much for sharing. One second.
Okay, hi, I think that was already introduced. So I'd like to start my presentation first asking you a question, right? So just imagine for a second that I am sitting next to you and I have my computer open, right? And I'm on my browser and suddenly internet is not working, right? And if I ask, could you help me? Yeah, who of you would be willing to help me? And that's a very interesting question. I think that probably almost every one of you will say, okay, let me check on that. So virtually, we're speaking about that you're kind of like internet experts, right? Now, let me travel a bit on the time. So we are 1989, and I am asking you the same question. So I am having problems with my internet. Who of you would try to help me? Yeah, so this is very exciting because I think that many of us are working with data, machine learning models, data analytics, and to be honest, the change that we are seeing right now with generative AI, at least in my personal opinion, is probably one of the most impactful changes that we will have, and there's still a lot to come. So there is a lot of opportunity happening there. Yep. A lot of opportunity happening there. So we believe we are in an inflection point. There is a lot that is going to happen. And I want to talk to you about how we see that this is changing and how as well the role of data scientists, machine learning project is going to change and what is the advantages that we will have out of this. Before I do that, right, I would like to discuss a bit more that machine learning has been the DNA of Amazon for decades. Almost 20 years we have been researching. You know, if you have seen, we're selling actually around about like 4,000 products per minute. We have a lot of delivery centers in which we have 1.6 millions of packages delivered, and everything is powered by the mail. So if you probably think about when you want to buy something at Amazon, many of the products that you want to buy are going to be delivered tomorrow, right? This is done because the mindset of Amazon has been always, we have a customer promise, right? So the customer promise is this promise only makes sense when you can apply it to a vast amount of products and actually happens, right? So, and actually being this the focus, we use machine learning to do forecasting, which means that most probably when you're going to buy something at Amazon, this has been already delivered to a delivery center. So we know that probably this product is going to be sold very close to that delivery center. So that is the reason why it happens in that way. In the other way, we have been pioneering as well with Alexa, right? As well with language models already, and as well in robotics, trying to solve the problem of last mile of delivering, right? So a lot happening in machine learning, and we have a bunch of services as well helping companies to do that. Another thing that is very important is that, and I will talk a bit more as well about this, about AI. There are 100,000 of customers who are doing machine learning in AI. For example, if you see right now, if you're a football fan here in Germany, you see Bundesliga, you see match facts. So right now we're bringing way more data closer to the fans. So there's a lot going on as well on AWS, and there is a lot of capability that help you to solve problems. And being said that, I would like to discuss right now the question that everyone is asking. So what is generative AI, right? What is the understanding that we have here? So it is a type of AI that will help you to, to create more content, ideas, inform stories, video, conversations, etc., etc. And why is this is possible? Because we call what is in the background of generative AI is something that we call foundational models. They are large models that just contains a lot of parameters. Just to give you an idea from the impact that it can have, you could virtually kind of like, crawl the internet and just, train a very large model and have all those parameters and give this model a task to do that you want this algorithm to do. right? So there is a lot going on there. And by the way, generative AI, I know that it has become kind of like a topic in the last months, but this topic has been already quite a long time already, right? There's a lot of successful as well algorithms that are being continued developed. And I will talk to you about this in a bit, right? So what are the types of foundational models that we see out there that are being very successful? So I think that many of you will know this text-to-text that pretty much you say, dear algorithm, please summarize this text for me. So this is kind of the use cases or kind of like the tasks that these algorithms are taking. Another that we have seen as well a lot in our own business model is searching, right? You can help, for example, to do embeddings. I'm looking, for example, for a soap or whatever, and I would like to find as well the relationships of that. Another kind of like typical use case, and I think that we see a lot of this on the internet right now, is pretty much as well what we call multimodal, kind of like creating new images, like writing text and letting AI to create things. So that is kind of like the typical things that we see, typical kind of like foundational models that we see out there, and how it's going to change the way how we have been working so far, right? Why foundational models are becoming very important. So if you are a machine learning practitioner, so you know that if you had a machine learning problem, what you did is you started to label data, right? And you train a model to do a task. So that was pretty much what everyone is doing, is trying to do, is experimenting and putting that into production, right? So what is changing is pretty much what I was telling you before. So right now, there is the capability to have models that are going to be trained in billions and probably hundreds of billions of parameters. And you can have a really, really incredible, really big knowledge base. And with this base, you can actually let an algorithm to do a task, right? You can even infuse your own data and you can say, that is the specific task that I want this algorithm to do. So you can already leverage a lot of knowledge. And this is what is changing, right? This is what we have been seeing as well in the last days happening. So why are kind of like innovative companies doing already since longer time generative AI on AWS, right? So one of the things that we have seen is that these big foundational algorithms is just the beginning of something, right? So we see right now the topics are on OpenAI. So this won't be the only algorithm out there, right? So we know a lot of, and I will talk about you as well about this. There is some leading top AI startups in Silicon Valley as well, and other technology companies that are developing foundational algorithms. And most of our customers are asking us to stay open. So they don't want to rely only in one algorithm, in one company doing that. So we are creating an ecosystem in which companies can do that, and companies can choose what kind of algorithms they want to be using. Another thing is, of course, that because we have been giving the foundation to these algorithms already to be trained, right? We are always taking care of security. These algorithms are, of course, developed with very strong security requirements. And one of the other things is that we at AWS have been as well investing in silicon, right? So we have been creating our own chips for training, like we call Trainium and Inferentia for inferences, because mainly as well, when we have very big algorithms that have billions of parameters, you want to have a cost-effective manner to, to train and maintain those models. So we are making this investment as well in terms of, electricity consumption and all that kind of thing. Another way that we have been already helping, let's say, companies like AI21, etc., creating this is because we have as well a framework. Like, I don't know if you are familiar with Amazon SageMaker. We have been training these foundational models already for a while. So, and we are giving, let's say, the set of tools that are necessary to be doing this already for quite some time. And not but not least, of course, we are as well focused in generative AI power solutions. And this is probably what many of you are as well very familiar with, like command or chat applications. You have seen, for example, as well at AWS, we just announced something called Whisperer. You can start just saying kind of like your console, I want to create a script that does this and this and this in this language, and it will be created the code automatically for you. So these kind of things are kind of like increasing and boosting as well the productivity internally of many companies, right? So what Amazon Web Services is putting on the table? So we just announced in private preview last April, a set of tools that are going to help you to do that, right? As I was telling you, generative AI is not new. So we have something called a SageMaker Model Hub, where we already have a lot of, foundational models, large language models, commercial models like Stable Diffusion from Stable AI, etc. So that's already available to you. You can just go there and use them, right? But what we are working on is in the preview of Amazon Bedrock. So pretty much what we're trying to do is that you don't have to be there and try to work with those open source models. So what we are creating is pretty much with Bedrock a fully managed service in which you will be able to call those foundational models with API calls. Pretty much will be fully automated as well for you to do that. And you will have as well the option to choose between, as I said, open source models, commercial models, or even the most exciting thing that we have. We announced that we will be publishing our own Amazon foundational models, as well text models focusing in NLP and as well embedding. So we will call these as well Amazon Titan, and you will see this as well. We're targeting this probably sometime this year to go in general available. And as I said, we have as well the set of chips and investments as well that we're doing in Silicon to really make sure that the training is secure and it's happening in an efficient manner. And Code Whisperer is an example, as well as I said, of Companion helping you to create code in this case. So now that I have talked to you about like Bedrock, right, and about kind of like democratizing these new AI foundational models, what we are doing, as I told you, we from AWS, we will have as well our foundational models from Amazon, and that would be Titan Text and Titan Embeddings. As I told you, text is going to be more focused on NLP tasks, and Titan more, and embeddings more on let's say embeddings. Embeddings is nothing more than just kind of like mapping kind of like words to numbers and trying to improve personalization and search. And of course, for the general availability of Bedrock, we are working together, of course, with commercial, and I said as well, with commercial partners and top AI tech companies like AI21 Labs, like Anthropic and Stable AI, right? Stable AI, many of you may already have been experimenting as well as Stable Diffusion as well for text to image, etc. Cloud is as well a large language model. I think that many of you probably have been hearing a lot in the last time about these large language models. And Jurassic 2 as well is very interesting because there's a multilingual algorithm, right, that can actually work in different languages like German, Spanish, French, Dutch, etc. So very exciting things. That's what we are going to start doing. So many customers are always asking me, that's the only thing that you're going to have, right? And the answer is no. That's with what we want to go live, right? This is our aim. But what we really want to do is to extend and create an ecosystem in which you have the space as well for open source. So at the end of the day, so the aim of Amazon Bedrock is as well that customers or enterprises, startups, just focus actually in the purpose of the task that the algorithm needs to do. For example, create just an application that uses a knowledge base. And if you need some data to label, for example, you can just put your data in S3 and help, of course, to point the specific tasks that you want the algorithms to do for you. So where can you start? And that's actually a very interesting question. Never start with a hype for the technology, right? Now, everyone is talking about Gen AI, so I want to apply Gen AI. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity, but again, one of the key things that we always keep, learning as well ourselves is always to start with a business priority. So there's a lot of use cases that you can just go and start experimenting what would be the real value that you may have. So we have seen right now across several customers and regions, there's kind of like the things that are asking us right now. And we see kind of like the popular things in different sectors. So a lot of experimentation right now. And as I told you, the topic is not that new. You can already actually, after my talk, just go to Amazon SageMaker Jumpstart and try to find whatever algorithm that you want, like open source, like, a Hugging Face of kind of like different kind of like GPT algorithms. And you can start experimenting. And, if you have some skills already, start creating some applications in that. Being said that, I think that I only have like 2 minutes. That was I wanted to pretty quickly introduce as well what is our vision as well on generative AI and how we want to move this forward as well across the community as always we have been doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Santiago. very exciting. Thank you for sharing your insight. Does anybody have questions for Santiago, questions about his work? No? Anything in the chat? All right. I do have one question, and it's if you could go back a slide or two to other industries. Yes, exactly. If you could elaborate on that, how do you think this concept could benefit other industries? How do you think it's transferable?
Yeah, to be honest, when I talk to you about the example of the internet, right? Who will be able to help me? So right now with generative AI, I think in the couple kind of like years, it will become as well easier to work with a lot of knowledge, right? So we just came yesterday from the AWS Summit here in Berlin. And actually, we already had a lot of conversations. One media company was discussing about like reducing time of the customer support, right? Customer support, so they already have like kind of the traditional chatbots, and as well like customer support agents. And the question is as well how generative AI could help to make that very efficient, and how much in time we could reduce, for example, a task to get solved. So if we get like this kind of like very straightforward like business priority, I think that then it's actually easier to understand which kind of technology would be fit better, what kind of foundational model we can leverage, and how we can create a solution that actually is going to create impact on that. So several kind of like use cases, for example, as well. Let me give you another one that is very interesting is Bloomberg, right? Bloomberg, many of you may know this U.S. News publisher. They decided to create their own foundational model. So they just focus it on into the financial market. And what they did is they got like 50 billion parameters of financial data, and they put this into the newsroom. What means is that if someone is writing some financial information, they just go very quick to the application. And in the application, what they are doing is just, fact checking the things that they are going to be writing. So there's a lot of value in that as well, in the productivity and trying to see if the information is right, what you're doing. And yeah, that's it. And of course, that was as well kind of like trained with the whole AWS infrastructure.
Yeah, absolutely. Very exciting. Great example, especially with a company and in a business that is so reliant on data, masses of data and accurate data. Thank you for sharing the example.
Yeah, thanks for having me.